How's it going, guys? Today we are starting the card reviews, the initial card impressions of the new cards for the Trial of the Gods expansion, Season 1. Season 1 has come out, everyone's been playing with the new cards. I had a pretty good pack opening a couple of days ago. You guys might have seen it. It was this 150 packs opening video. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go and watch it. And we've pretty much got a bunch of cards, but we're missing a lot of cards from the expansion. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give my initial impressions over all of the cards, from all the different cards and the neutral cards as well. And then 2 or 3 months from now, when we get the opportunity to acquire all the cards and play a bunch with all of them, we're gonna be doing our final reviews of the cards. So this is the initial review / impressions of each of the cards. So let's start with my favorite lore, which is Palace's lore. Was pretty fun. It was my favorite story out of every champion. So I'm gonna be starting the reviews with the magic cards then. So let's jump right in. And one other thing. This is not going to be done in any specific order in terms of mana, because some of the cards are like, we're going to leave the unknown cards towards the end and things like that. So it's going to be jumping back and forth, not like previous reviews. The final review will be everything like right by mana, cost, and all of that. Okay, so going to the first card, Form of Power. Deal 2 damage to an enemy creature and 1 damage to your opponent's god. So for me, this card is like a 3 stars because we have better option. I much rather have Ancient Text because it gives you the flexibility to either deal 2 damage or get protected. So this for me it's a 3 stars. On the lower end of 3 stars. It's okay, but it's not that great. Then we're going on to Academy Familiar, and this is pretty nice because for the first time, Ethers have got some lower mana cards to complement their deck, so it's pretty fun. The first one is going to be Academy Familiar, which after you cast a spell it costs 3 or less, this gains +1 strength. So this is basically the other card that gains +1/+1 when you cast a spell, but this is just a strength, and it only costs 1, this one, so it's pretty good. The other one costs 2. So for me, this is pretty good because you're gonna be running a bunch of spells lower than 3 mana, and this complements the Ether decks pretty well. So I'm gonna be putting this at 4 stars. Next we have Form of Wisdom, which draws a card. If it's a spell that costs 3 or less, reduce its cost to 0. This is kind of like RNG. You're gonna be wanting either you're running just a full spell deck, or it's not that worth it. So I'm gonna put this at 2 stars. I don't think it's good enough. Maybe it can be interesting for combo decks and things like that in the future, but right now, not that much. Then we have Ether Herald. If you're holding an Ether, deal 3 damage to the opponent's god. Typically with Ethers, you're not gonna be wanting to be super aggressive. You want to control the board, and that's why I don't like this card that much. On the other hand, the stat line's pretty good. For 2 mana, it's a 2/3. And it gets the bonus effect. So I'm gonna put this at 3 stars. It's an okay card for me. Then we have Form of Unity, and deal 2 damage to a character for each friendly creature on the board. And this is super nice because if you're running an aggressive type of deck with magic and you have a full board, which is 6 creatures, you're gonna be dealing 12 damage. And imagine you do this, you prep the board on the turn before at 5 mana, and at 6 mana you drop 2 of these forms of units. That's 24 damage in a turn. That's freaking bonkers, man. So I'm definitely gonna put this at 4 stars. It's not 5 stars because it's not like creme de la creme, but it's gonna be upper 4 stars. It's pretty good in my opinion. Then we got Recovered Knowledge, which is a soulless card. Pull 2 random spells that each cost 3 or less from your void into your hand. So this is basically an alternative to your God Power that allows you to bring stuff back from the void. It's an okay card. If you want to recycle cards, it's okay, but I don't think it's gonna be find its way into a lot of decks. So I'm gonna put this at 3 stars. Then we got Blessing of Magic, which gain favor equal to 3 times the amount of mana I have unlocked. I don't know this because I haven't tried the favor deck, but this is definitely a card I'm gonna be running in my favor deck. You're wasting a lot of mana for not that big of a deal, but if you're playing this on turn, like if you have 6 mana locks or 7 mana locks, you're getting like 18 favor. So it's basically 3 mana gain 20 favor on average. So it's pretty good. It's okay. So I'm gonna put this at 3 stars, upper end of 3 stars, but still 3 stars. Then we got a relic, which is the Rod of Rodent. After you cast a spell that costs 3 or less, summon a rat. It's interesting because this, contrary to many other relics, this is like basically a an infinite summoner of 1/1s. So you can combo this with other cards that buff the 1/1s or things like that, or even combo it with the Form of Unity, and this can get out of hand super quickly. And since it only has 1 durability, it's not that worth it for them to destroy it. So it's gonna be pretty interesting. I think some good combos are gonna come from this, so I'm gonna put this as 4 stars. Then we got Spellbound Goblin, which has Spell Boost +1, and it removes 8 durability from your opponent's relic. It gives him a draw, so there's better cards out there for 4 mana that can remove durability. But if they've boosted their champion weapons so far enough that it's very hard for you to get rid of them, this is a good alternative. But it's highly dependent on whether all the decks are running like the champion cards, and it's super famous. So I'm gonna put this at 3 stars because right now there's no actual indication that that's gonna happen. Then we got another Ether, Planetary Sage. Afterlife, if you're holding an Ether, gain 9 favor, so this is pretty nice. Then again, together with the Blessing of Magic, I'm probably going to be doing a favor deck with Ethers. But this card's not amazing because the set line's okay, but and the effect's not that great. So I'm gonna put this at 3 stars. Then we have Visionist, which if you're holding an Ether, add a random 1 mana card to 1 cost card magic spell to your hand. And this is an okay card. It's giving you basically a card draw, but I don't think it's worth it for the stat line that you have, the 4/5 for the 5 mana. So I'm gonna put this at 2 stars. Then we got Antimneon's Reflection. It's a 5 mana Ether, 5/5 with Roar. This creature gains Blitz. So basically it's equivalent to the Zaxium, but instead of having like gaining the effects of something in your hand, it's going to be gaining the effects of everything on the opponent's board. And this might be interesting. If they play a Zaxium, this can be a nice counter to it. So I'm going to have to put this at 4 stars because it can get pretty out of hand pretty quickly. And then we got Palace Incantation, which transforms each creature that costs 6 mana or more into a 1/1 rat. Obliterate each creature in both voids. This is nice. It's a good counter to the to the control death decks. It's actually a perfect counter to that because typically they're putting really high cost cards on the board, which you're not gonna have, and then it obliterates every creature. So it's a really good counter for those types of decks. But other than that, I don't see that many opportunities. I know that Magic doesn't have like really hard removals. You have Inferno, which deals 5 damage to each creature, but like a complete board clear, you only have that with the hero card with the that transforms everything into a 1/1 rat. So this might be a good alternative, but I'm still gonna put this at 3 stars. And then we got Mana Auditor. If you're holding Aether, remove 2 mana locks. This is quite nice if you want to be ramping up. Removing 2 mana locks, even though this has a terrible stat line, it can get it can give you an edge super quickly. So I'm gonna have to put this card at 3 stars, like upper end of 3 stars, not necessarily 4 stars. And then we got Arcane Burst, which deals 1 damage to a character for each spell that costs 3 or less in your void, up to a maximum of 10 damage. So I think this is way too expensive for the damage that it can do. So 7 mana, like essentially this could be a 7 mana deal 10 damage, but the problem is the cap. Like if it caps at 10 damage, it's too low. It needs to be something much higher for you to be able to do combo decks with that. So either 15 damage or if you want to like cap it so that you don't play 2 in a row, I would still put it at 15 damage though. So I'm gonna have to put this card in the 2-star category because for now it's really bad for what you get. Then we have some like the champion cards. We have Palace's Wand, which is the legendary relic for magic. After you play a magic card, add 1 durability, so all of them play with that. And then the ability is to draw a card, then remove 3 durability from this relic. I don't think this card is that great. Like, it's basically giving you a card draw, but it only draws you 1 card at a time. And for you to get like really high durability, you're gonna have to wait. So I'm gonna have to put this card in the 3 stars because in my opinion it's not that great. Then the trial related to Palace is like actually not Palace, it's Selena, but it's on the in Magic, in the Magic cards. Trial of the False Reflection. Summon a copy of a target creature. The copy has at the start of your turn summon a copy of this creature. So this is quite nice because if you're playing this on like really buffed up cards, the problem is with Magic you're not gonna have buffed cards. But if you play this on a Demogorgon or something like that, or something that has War, for example, you're summoning a copy of that creature, and then that creature keeps summoning new copies every turn. Like, that's a bonkers effect. And some cards can be pretty broken with that. And if you play this on a 10 mana card, imagine just every turn getting it, 10 attack, 10-10, like for example a Burnished Bull. Every turn you're getting a Burnished Bull. That's like crazy, man. So I'm gonna have to put this in the, in my opinion, this is a 5-star card for sure. We'll have to see if it's really good or not, but in my opinion it's a 5-star. Then finally the champion, we have Palace, which is the champion of Magic, and its ability is okay compared to other champions. Delve a spell, obliterate a random card, or deal damage in the enemy's enemy god's void and deal damage to them equal to its cost. So I would be always playing the Delve a spell basically, unless you want to be super aggressive. But since this doesn't have backline, I'm always going to be playing this with delving spells because it's basically drawing you a card every turn. And in that sense, it's a pretty good card for a 3 mana 1/4 that draws you a card every turn. Is really good. A target to draw, so I'm gonna put this in the 4 stars. And finally, the last 2 legendary cards for Magic, we have majes, Spectral Philosopher, which adds a form of wisdom, a form of power, a form of unity to your hand. For 5 mana, giving all of those forms is not that great, so I'm gonna have to put this in the 3 stars. Maybe if, with like for combo decks and stuff like that, it could be interesting, but in my opinion, it's not. And then we have Archamia, Arithmancer, which has Ward. It's a 5 mana 3/3, which has Ward, and after you cast a spell that costs 3 or less, refresh 1 mana. So basically, it's giving you 1 extra mana every time you do small spells. This is much better. Like in my opinion, it's a 4 stars. But I don't know if it's gonna be like crazy bonkers good. I think it's gonna be okay. It might find its way onto some decks, but not that many. So I'm still gonna put it in 4 stars, lower end of 4 stars, but that's it. And these are the card reviews for the Magic cards for Trial of the Gods. Tune in next time to check out the next cards. See you guys next time. Packs out. Bye-bye.